So here's the truth. Most people who start podcasts today already have something: a following, a niche identity, a brand, a viral moment, something. I didn't. I wasn't coming in with 10,000 Instagram followers. I wasn't coming in with some pre existing audience. Nobody was sitting around waiting for episode 2. I pressed upload on episode 1 and thought, okay, now what? And that's when I realized if you're starting a podcast from zero, you can't think like the big guys. You have to think like a beginner who wants to become world class. Nobody prepares you for the confusion, the logistics, the niche crisis, the who the hell am I going to invite panic. And I want this episode to be valuable for anyone who's starting their podcast from the same place. No clout, no network, and no idea where to begin. I'm going to break down exactly what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and how I'm thinking about building this podcast from scratch. You don't need an audience to start, but you need a plan to grow. One of the first existential crises I had was this: I have a buffet style brain. One day I'm reading Jung, next I'm researching LLMs and data centers, then I'm watching Dwarkesh Patel grill an AI researcher, then I'm deep in some esoterica episode on medieval mysticism, then I'm watching Matt and Shane clips. So naturally I thought, okay, what even is my niche? How do I choose? The first decision you have to make as a podcaster is, are you a generalist or a specialist? Generalist pros: you have infinite creative freedom. You can bring on guests from anywhere. You stay authentic to your own curiosity. You build a flexible brand. This is the Joe Rogan model. And we all reference Rogan because he's the blueprint. But here's the critical nuance: Joe Rogan didn't become Generalist Rogan by accident. He came into podcasting already being Joe Rogan. Fear Factor host, UFC commentator, decades in stand up, a multi industry network already in place. When Rogan brings on someone like Ari Maddy, an Estonian comic nobody knows, it still works because people come for Rogan, not the guest. You and I don't have that privilege yet. Specialist pros: if you go niche early, you grow faster, you attract a cult following, the algorithm understands you immediately, you become the guy for X. That's how Dwarkesh Patel blew up. That's how early Lex Friedman built credibility. They went deep into one domain before expanding. But the trade-off: niches are efficient, but they can become cages. If I niche into AI and later want to talk about spirituality, history, or comedy, the audience might resist. And this is where my cousin, who knows content creation deeply, gave me the best line of this whole journey. Decide whether your creativity is in the topic or in the approach. That changed everything. Some paths give you freedom, some paths give you speed. You have to choose which one you're willing to live with. There's this huge misconception people have when starting a podcast. They think that they can invite guests the way Rogan does. Let me find an interesting person and record a conversation. Cool in theory, disastrous in practice, unless people already care about you. When Rogan invites random comedians, ex-UFC fighters, psychedelic researchers, survival specialists, it works because they're coming into his universe. I don't have that universe yet. So when you're starting without a brand, your guests must carry the value early on. Your first 10 guests must be high signal, research friendly, niche but valuable, credible, clip generating, aligned with your brand direction. These episodes train the algorithm, the audience, your reputation, your own interviewing ability. So this is why Dwarkesh didn't bring random founders early on. He brought domain experts in AI and economics. This is why Lex brought scientists, robotists, and researchers early on. They created a clear identity before expanding. In the early game, Your guests are your brand, so choose wisely. Before I started this, I genuinely thought podcasting was simple. Buy a mic, hit record, upload, and you're done. Then I walked into the real world and realized everything is complicated. Everything. Gear is expensive, lighting matters more than your face, audio is harder than video, editing is a whole different career. The biggest shock, you don't need the best equipment, you need the right constraints. In-person episodes require a studio, require camera bodies, require lighting, require mics, require an operator, require backup gear. And each of these things has hidden costs. SD cards, batteries, tripods, room acoustics, echo control, post-production labor. And remote episodes, way cheaper, way easier, way less dynamic. But they're better for beginners because they remove scheduling friction, eliminate venue costs, make content easier to produce consistently. So don't optimize for perfect quality, optimize for consistency. This one surprised me. We all think gear or guests or editing are the bottlenecks. They're not. The biggest bottleneck is not knowing what you don't know. And the fastest way around this is find someone one chapter ahead of you. My cousin saved me months of mistakes, choosing the right niche, over investing in gears, thinking I needed a studio, trying to be Rogan on episode 1, not understanding short form hooks, miscalculating the value of research, misunderstanding how clips drive discovery. 1 hour of her guidance saved me weeks. The right mentor is worth more than the right microphone. Here's something I wish people showed more often: the middle of the journey. Everyone posts the studio tour after they blow up. Nobody shows the messy early stage, the experiments, the confusion, the self doubt. So, this episode is my checkpoint, the honest middle. I'm still figuring out my niche, my guest strategy, my voice, my editing flow, my cadence, my episode format. But I'm figuring it out in public. I think there's value to documenting that. Value for me and value for anyone listening. People show their podcast after it succeeds. I want to show mine while it's becoming. If you want more solo episodes like this, more raw breakdowns of the process, let me know. Because as I build this thing, I'm learning in real time. And I'm happy to share that journey. I'll see you in the next episode.